It's an orange juice.
What's up everyone, this is OJ. The Goblin Gang is kind of like a Knight Skarmy hybrid. It can distract a lot of cards a Knight can, but it's fragile like a skeleton army. The hard counter to Skarmy is the log, so a Princess and Goblin Barrel pair really well with this card. The meta right now is really diverse, so it's hard to say what the best deck is for the Goblin Gang. But with the Princess, Goblin Barrel, the log, and an Inferno, it makes a really nice base for a log bait deck. Add 3 cards to suit your playstyle. A tank and a spell would be ideal. I made a really fun deck that reached 12 wins, but this is during the first day when everyone was running Goblin Gang in the Grand Challenges. Another deck that is more reliable would be the Knight Rocket deck. They play completely different from each other. With the Dark Goblin deck, you basically never want to reach 10 elixir. The pushes should be around 3 or 4 elixir. Ice Spirit can tank 2 shots from a tower and freeze it, so the Dark Goblin can deal over 1,000 damage if they ignore it. Pretty deadly combo and everyone knows it, so it's almost never ignored. This is good because it either draws out a log or something like a knight. This deck is technically a 2.8 deck, but you almost never have to run the Inferno Tower, so it plays more like a 2.4 cycle deck. The idea of this deck is to rapid fire every single troop. You never want to commit more than 4 elixir though. It's really fun to play, just keep applying pressure. They can never build up a combo for their deck. It's pretty weak to Bowler Graveyard though, so you'll need to save your Dark Goblin to take out the graveyard, and Bowler practically counters all of the cards in this deck. This low cost deck beats all the traditional Zap Bait decks because the Princess, Barrel, Gang, Fire Spirits, Log, Ice Spirit, and Dart can take out the Goblin Barrel. So even if they bait out your Log and shoot out 2 Goblin Barrels, the entire deck counters that strategy. The Princess is going to be free damage. It's almost always guaranteed to get 140 off. If they log her, you can send in a barrel. If it's a Knight, the Goblin Gang will counter it. Then your Dark Goblin can take out the Knight. And now they have to worry about that Dark Goblin because it's going to chip at their tower. This deck isn't necessarily about making positive elixir trades. Rather, it's more like unit trades. The constant need to address your 3 or 4 elixir pushes stresses out their deck combo and they never get to execute it. Starting off this match, I bust out an Ice Spirit Barrel combo. Casting the barrel first, then the Ice Spirit. It's perfectly timed so the Ice Spirit tanks the tower right as the goblins land on it. His Skarmy gets destroyed by my Ice Spirit, 4 elixir for 3 elixir trade. And I've dealt damage to his tower. Now it's a matter of waiting for those skeletons to pass so I can plant my Princess. He plants the Lava Hound at the same time. His only counter seems to be the Tombstone. Since the Dark Goblin one-shot skeletons, he's perfect for protecting my Princess. Right as he demolishes the Tombstone, I play my Fire Spirits to protect her from the skeletons that spawn. This is when my opponent realizes the Dark Goblin and Princess are going to deal serious damage, so he arrows them. He spent 6 elixir on the left side, so I'm not worried about any big pushes on the right side since my Inferno takes care of that Hound. The Stab Goblins tank while the Spear Goblins take out everything. Right now I know he has a Skarmy back in rotation, so I want to bait it out with my Princess. She does get 1 shot for the tower, then the Dark Goblin cleans up, and as a bonus, he ignored the Dark Goblin so he dealt the full 400 damage. Because the balloon was planted on the front outer edge, I could have placed it 1 tile further to the left. I messed up my Ice Spirit placement so the balloon's bomb touches my tower. He's had arrows in rotation for a few cards now, so I know he's going to waste his arrows directly on the barrel. This means if he has elixir, his only counter to my Fire Spirits are Tombstone. They're pretty deadly. 2 spirits reaching the tower is basically fireball damage for the cost of 2 elixir. I'm sitting on a bit of elixir in case he plants anything in front and I need to cycle to my Inferno. But as soon as I hear the Lava Hound, I played my Princess. I put my Dark Goblin a bit too forward, so I need to assist him with an Ice Spirit. Looks like he's going all or nothing with the push on the right side. But that's totally fine, I have an Inferno Tower. The Goblin Gang is perfect for this push because the Stab Goblins distract the Mega Minion. For every Goblin it kills, that's 1 less swing it gets on my buildings. As long as one of the 3 Fire Spirits lands the kill shot, it splashes all of the pups. I know he has arrows in rotation, so I play my Dark Goblin really far in the front and it stops the balloon. With 30 seconds left in the position of the Lava Hound, he just used arrows, so I'm throwing everything I have. The thinking is that if he ignores everything, that tower goes down, or he has to defend it and spend elixir, leaving him with no elixir for his Lava Hound push. This deck is super fun and I've gotten to 12 wins with this, but you really need to count their card rotation, because one small mistake will allow your opponent to build a huge 20 elixir push and 3 crown you in under a minute. Never pair the Dark Goblin, Princess, Gang, or Barrel together. The combo should never be more than 4 elixir, And generally you shouldn't have more than 7 elixir, just keep spending it. Rapidly applying pressure synchronizes your elixir with your opponent and destroys any combo that they potentially could play. This deck isn't reliable against tank graveyard poison decks, but it's so cheese, it's fun to play. I started off this match with an Ice Spirit Dark Goblin combo. Unfortunately for my opponent, he was being polite, and that cost him over 700 damage on his tower. He pumps up, so this deck seems a little fishy to me. The Goblin Gang is really threatening and is never ignored, so I want to see what he has. It's the log, so this is perfect. He can't counter my princess or my barrel. She gets one shot off the tower before dying, so it was a positive unit trade. The Dark Goblin takes out the tombstone, breaking even, and gets a shot off of the tower. I still don't know what his last 2 cards are, but I do know that his log is 1 card away from rotation. He has to show me those last 2 cards or use archers to absorb my fire spirits for a negative trade. As a bonus, 1 fire spirit lands on the golem and splashes the tower. So far I've seen archers pump, log, mega minion, tombstone, and golem. I'm pretty sure his last 2 cards are Baby Dragon and Lightning. Assuming he has a Lightning, I'm playing the Inferno Tower in front of the river, 1 tile in the other lane. This is the anti-lightning position. I know his log is back in rotation, so I wanted to bait out with the Goblin Gang. But he reveals the 7th card is the Baby Dragon, now I'm positive he has Lightning. The Dark Goblin does work to the Baby Dragon and the Ice Spirit tanks 1 shot, then freezes it. He can't take any damage from the dart, so he logs it. This is perfect for my barrel. I should have played my princess a bit earlier, but since I hesitated, the Mega Minion does get 1 swing off of my tower. His tombstone is out of rotation and I'm a bit in the lead, so I bait with a 5 elixir combo. Fire Spirits and Dark Goblin. This essentially protects my princess on the left side, letting her finish off that tower. On top of that, he now doesn't have anything to counter my barrel on the right side. I can afford the damage from the Baby Dragon, and the Ice Spirit does a really good job at cutting its damage in half for 1 elixir. Princess gets 1 shot off of the tower and trades with the Mega Minion. The Golem's approaching, so I place the Inferno in the anti-lightning position. Goblin Gang takes out the tombstone and distracts the Baby Dragon for a bit. This deck is ridiculously fun to play, but if you want to take it seriously and want to reach 12 wins, you need to be able to control their elixir and gauge the situation. You don't really need to track all of their cards, just keep a mental note of when they use the log and never overcommit more than 4 elixir and never let them build big pushes. Don't sit at 10 elixir, otherwise you'll end up having to defend a huge push with 15 elixir worth of cards on your side, all clumped up that'll die to arrows at once. You'll get 3 crowned instantly. The base of this deck is really solid, with almost every player running the log in grand challenges. It makes a lot of sense to run Princess and Goblin Barrel with the gang. This deck uses Rocket instead of Dark Goblin and Knight instead of an Ice Spirit. The tank aspect of this variant makes the deck much more reliable, especially against bowlers, but plays completely differently. You don't have the Dark Goblin to constantly chip their towers, so it's not like the previous deck where you have to stay below 7 elixir at all times. Since the Knight allows you to defend against the bigger pushes, it's easier to handle. I did mess up the timing of the Knight and I played him a bit too high so the bowler isn't in range of the tower. That was a negative trade. On the plus side, he used his log on my Goblin Gang, so I'm free to barrel and fire spirit its tower. Turns out he has zap for the spirits, but that's fine. The barrel deals quite a bit of damage. The giant won't make it past the Inferno, but I kind of messed up my princess placement, so I used my knight to tank the minions. I'm considering surrounding the bowler, but I realized that my Inferno Tower has just enough health to take it out. Having just used this log on my princess, he only has zap for my fire spirits or barrel, but not both. He misses his zap anyways, counters with a musketeer, and I rocket her. At tourney standard, the rocket deals 493 damage, and the log deals exactly 100, so the tower isn't low enough. I'm waiting for him to play something so I can plant my princess in the front. This is great, now I have multiple options and can overcommit on defense because 1 rocket will win the game. As usual, the giant won't make it past the Inferno Tower. Ice Spirits do a really good job at protecting the giant from an Inferno Tower, so I need to log it. The knight clumps everything together and I can rocket it out. Again, cheesing him with a front princess, we trade damage. So far, the only damage he's done to my tower is with his logs. Baiting his log, the barrel can take out his tower. With the Executioner's reduced splash radius, it no longer counters the Goblin Barrel perfectly like a bowler can. This deck is a bit slower and not as spammy as the previous one, but it's certainly a lot more reliable. The rocket allows you to take out larger support troops that are clumped up behind if your knight isn't enough to distract them. Looking back at this replay, I really only used the Goblin Gang once, and that was because I messed up my knight placement. He had bowler and executioner, so it was a bit hard to use them defensively. And every big push he had, I didn't need to use the gang because all of his troops were clumped up perfectly for the rocket. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more quality OJ.